A podcast? Did your radio show get canceled?
Fire. Low down and filthy, but the discipline is on point. Schooled myself, made my own dojo. A cold flow with the whole dose of soul. Maintain composure, even in fury. An anomaly, properties undiscernible to me.
This week on the Pete the Planner Show, the road show continues. The tour of America, as I come to you over the next several weeks from cities all over this great land. This week, Nicole, Austin, Texas.
Woohoo!
I think Austin's like stay weird or keep weird or that's like their slogan, right?
Their slogan. That's awesome.
Everything's weird. I don't know. Anyway, I'm here. I'm on the 23rd floor of a hotel, and I'm gonna go run after we record today's show.
Oh man, I gotta say I got a run in yesterday for really the first time this spring, and she was a doozy. It felt good to be back out there, but let me tell you.
Say you and I race.
Oh, that could be really interesting.
That's what people say when they're not interested in something. Today on the show, Nicole, we're going to deal with emails. It's going to be pretty interesting today, and I don't say that with shock. But today's episode, we're going to call it the Maybe Pete is an Idiot edition of the show.
Oh.
You just never know. Oh, by the way, it's a little housekeeping.
Yeah.
Housekeeping.
Hello.
Little housekeeping for you here, since we're in a hotel room today. Or I'm in a hotel room. This got weird. All right, let me continue.
Anyways.
You're back at the studio, of course, in Indiana. Don't call our office. Like, I mean, if you're listening right now and you're thinking, man, I really like him, or I don't like him. I don't care your feelings. Just don't call my office. No offense.
Don't
this
call
show's
us.
not about you calling my office. I don't want you to hey, be my advisor. First of all, we don't do that. Second of all, if you're calling to tell me you disagree with me, just don't do that either. Just email me. That's what it's for. Ask Pete at PeteThePlanner.com, or just do it in public on Twitter at PeteThePlanner. But don't call my good people who are just working and tell me I'm misinforming the public. We know that. Everyone knows that. I'm a dummy.
We know that no one knows. Also, it never gets easier to have to tell someone that you no longer do, personal one-on-ones or any personal planning anymore. That never gets any easier. So yeah, don't call us.
Don't call us, and we won't call you. All right. So we're going to start here. It's sort of a weird place to start. Now, what do you want to do first, Nicole? Do you want to do a two-parter that'll take two segments, or do you want to do the one-parter, which will take one segment? Because what do you want to do?
Let's do the two-parter first and then do the one-parter before our last segment.
Okay, so I got to rewind a little bit.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, I did a column, and I'm going to have to do a lot of reading here so to catch everybody up in an efficient manner. It's from a reader named Vic. So this was my USA Today column, appears in a lot of other Gannett papers too, blah, 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 blah. Dear Pete, is it ever smart to cash out a 401k early? I have around $120,000 in a 401k. If I cash out, I would guess after penalties, I would get $70,000 or so. Then I could bank the $70,000 and not worry about losing money. I know about inflation and I would lose all the compounding gains. I'm 55, kind of feel like investing is gambling. Would feel better to secure the cash now. Worst case scenario, when a person is 63 or so, if the market stumbled to record losses, a person couldn't afford to retire and would have to work several years to recoup losses in that scenario. Then you'd be 70 just to get back to work just to get back to what you had at 63. Sorry. I know historically about the 7 to 9% annual stock market gains, but life is too short, right? Shouldn't I just keep what I have and what I've earned? So that's from Vic. I don't remember where Vic's from.
Thanks,
okay,
Vic.
So Nicole, any initial thoughts here?
Well, I don't blame Vic for not knowing what to do. Because
he's not feeling it.
No, he's not.
So it's hard to explain this. I'm going to give you some of the backstory of why I answered the way I did.
Okay.
So when you're a financial advisor and you see the scenario and your main goal isn't to sell the person an insurance product, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but typically what you would do is you might try to convince Vic that his fears are misplaced, that they're unfounded, that the history of the stock market, and you use a bunch of statistics to suggest that statistically he's probably wrong. And to be honest with you, Nicole, statistically, he's probably wrong. But here's the problem with that. And very frankly, I think this is the sort of stuff is the reason I stopped investing people's money back in 2012.
Yeah.
Because that's my job. That's what I know. I know that what he's talking about is probably a bad idea to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I should tell him, or what you're trained to tell him, is to say, you know what, you can definitely lower your risk tolerance, but you need to stay invested so you can grow your money. Because if you don't grow your money, inflation will take advantage of you. And by the way, through the stock market suggests that you're wrong, and you'll be fine over the next 12 years or so. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to say.
That's what you're supposed to say.
But here's the problem. Number one, to try to give that advice to someone in a newspaper column in 800 words is harder than you think.
I believe it. Yeah. 800 words is not as much as people think it is.
Not as much as I talk.
Mm-mm.
You have to, there's so many disclaimers, there's so many hedges you have to put in there. And so, he's got some other options. He could go the insurance product route. And I reference that from time to time here on this show, Nicole. I don't know if you know or don't know what that means, but essentially, when you take your investments and you put them into an insurance product, you're essentially buying insurance on your investments.
Oh.
Okay, so an annuity.
Yes.
Yeah, you heard the term annuity. We've talked about annuities.
Yes.
An annuity is an insurance product that allows someone to pass the market risk, if you will, from their investment to the insurance company. In order to do that, your expenses, there are fees that make that possible. Now, there's a lot to know about that. That's a whole different year of episodes.
I was like, right off the bat, I don't know how I feel about that.
It's in the investment world, it's poo-pooed, if you will, by a lot of the fee-based financial advisors out there.
Yeah.
Insurance folks love it because annuities just happen to be really high commission-paying products. But I'll say that doesn't mean they're bad for you. It just means people who sell annuities make a heck of a lot of money, right? Because they make a lot of money for the insurance company. That's neither here nor there.
Anyway.
So here's the direction I took with Vic in this email. And I'm actually going to read the first two paragraphs because I can't summarize it better than I actually wrote it when I had time to think about it.
Hey, there you go.
I can't even begin to tell you the number of readers who are nodding their heads right now because they have the exact same question, Vic. But to be fair, there might be an equal number of folks screaming, "No!" into their newspaper. Well, I've got good news. Both groups will be satisfied here shortly. I'll lay out your choices for you, but I'm going to try to avoid the "if I were you" garbage. You already know you probably shouldn't withdraw your money from your 401k right now, and oddly enough, I'm not going to try to talk you out of it just because I wouldn't do it. Instead, let's focus on getting you what you want: capital preservation. Okay, so Nicole, anytime you get an investment question, the first thing a professional investment person does is they try to figure out what is the technical objective. Technical objective. And there are a few technical objectives. There's growth, there's income, there's tax avoidance in a good way, or in a legal way.
Yes.
And then there's capital preservation. So what Vic is saying is, how do I keep the money I have? Fancy word for that, Frankie, is capital preservation.
Oh, that is a fancy little duo word that for.
It is. It's pretty good.
It's nice.
So that's all he cares about is keeping his money. So what I decided to do with this column is to say, I'm not going to try to talk him out of this. I'm just going to tell him how to do capital preservation better than he had planned on doing capital preservation. So here's how he planned on doing it. He planned on just cashing the whole thing out, having taxes and penalties, and losing $36,000 in tax and penalty. That was his plan. By the way, he was comfortable with that. This man was comfortable losing $36,000.
Why?
Because he wants capital preservation. It's a bad idea.
I just think about all the things you could buy with $36,000, and how do you be okay with that?
So again, as a former financial advisor and as someone who still talks about finances on a minutely basis, I decided to get him what he wanted, which is capital preservation, without losing $36,000. So my solution, which I laid out in the column, is how to accomplish what he wants to accomplish without losing $36,000. And so it's a pretty simple answer, really. It's instead of getting out of your 401k, just move the money that are in the investments in the 401k into the money market account that is also within the 401k, which is essentially a cash vehicle within the plan. So do you see, Nicole, what we did is we just didn't create a tax event. We got him away from volatility, which he's afraid of, which I don't think he should have done, but that wasn't the point of the column. And that's where we are.
Oh, Pete, I really like that.
Oh, you did. Oh. After the break, Robert weighed in on an email this morning, 10 o'clock or so. Got the email. And Nicole, you know how infrequently I email back people criticizing me.
Yeah.
I actually emailed back Robert today.
Oh, this is
And I will read you both of those emails after the break. How about that for a tease?
That was a good tease, Pete.
Remind me to tell you, 2 things happened on the plane on the way out here today, and I will tell you both of those as well after the break. This is going to be the longest break I've ever went live. I'm Pete the Planner, and this is the Pete the Planner Show.
Stop what you're doing. Log on and hit Pete up on Twitter at Pete the Planner.
Primo B, man. Kanye let this one go. Man, sound good to me. I never question the right of any man to voice his opinion as strongly as any can. But then again, many men are citizens of their own little world, so they ain't really fitting in. I'm in the background blending in, camouflaged by the scenery, but I'm a champion. Revamp the camp again, put down my stamp.
Back on the Pete the Planner Show. You know, Nicole, we're coming off possibly the best tease in the last 10 years I've ever done.
Yeah, that was like a double tease.
It's a double tease. That's what they call it in the biz, a DT.
Oh, that's very official.
I don't think it is. I never went to school for this junk. Hey, okay, so on the flight on the way out here, I had to fly into, by the way, I'm on the road again this week, guys. Where have we been? We were Pasadena 2 weeks ago. Where did we do it from last week? Atlanta?
We were in Buckhead last week.
And then Austin this week. You know, Frank, I think next Wednesday, when I'm back in town for about 12 hours, let's just do it from home.
Oh, okay. That sounds nice.
I think that's the plan. All right. So anyway, on the flight out here, I had to fly through Houston.
Okay.
Flight out, woman sitting next to me, pulls out her laptop. You know, I always pull out my laptop too, because that way I don't look approachable.
Some pull out a laptop, some pull out bag pizza, but you know.
Oh my God, that was a great story too. Woman starts working on her laptop. I look over because I'm really nosy.
And you're in somewhat close proximity.
Yeah, I mean, we're both like T-Rex arming our keyboards. Like the moment we had to share.
That's great.
I look over. She's working on her personal budget.
Oh.
So, of course, I'm a narcissist. So my first thought is, she's doing this because she's sitting next to Pete the Planner, right? I mean, that's the natural thought if you're me, right?
Absolutely. You're Pete the Planner.
Or there's a 99% chance that that's not the case. And she was just working on her budget.
She's just working on a budget.
So that was the first flight. There's no end to that story.
Oh, that was the story.
I didn't turn to her and go, "Can I help you?" I was going to mansplain this woman's budget to her.
You should have slid her an ideal, just slid her a link to the ideal household budget.
Go ahead, click PeteThePlanner.com.
Put it on a jump drive and just left it on top of it. That would have been funny.
Second flight, which is like a 20-minute flight from Houston to Austin.
So like a
guy
sneeze.
next to me in the middle seat. We're on the runway. Our plane is starting to accelerate so it can lift into the air. I don't know if you know about the physics.
Yeah, I've heard about it once or twice.
As this is happening, he starts doing the sign of the cross very quickly. And then he says in a much louder voice than I'm comfortable with, "Jesus Christ be with me."
Oh, no.
And look, I think Jesus Christ is great.
Yeah.
You know what? He's my best friend. But listen.
He's rising on Sunday.
Yes. On April Fool's Day, he was like, "I'm dead." No, I'm not.
Psych.
April Fools.
Oh, it's such a timely April Fool's joke, too. Jesus wins the best April Fool's prank.
Ever. And so this guy is praying to Jesus right when we're about to fly, and I'm thinking, I'm uncomfortable. And then I started thinking on the whole, it's only a 20-minute flight, so my mind wandered the whole time. what if Jesus and the God are really mad at someone on that flight and they're trying to prove a point? And I'm on that flight. I'm like, hey, I'm fine. I'm good with the Jesus right now. And they're like, let's put this puppy down into a crick or whatever. And I'm on the plane. That's no good, right?
No, because then you automatically become a part of whatever they're trying to prove.
Yeah. Somebody else learned a lesson, and my family learns a lesson too. So I don't think that's how religion works. All right, moving on. So if you joined us in the last segment, I gave really good advice in USA Today, and then Robert emailed me this morning, and here's his email. Dear Pete, I was mortified by your advice to Vic, the guy who was willing to leave behind $70,000 to obtain the safety of being in cash. You basically advised him to move his money into a money market account. This was a guy who is 55 years old. If he makes $75,000 and Social Security gives him $35,000 for a while anyway, he's going to need at least $15,000 from his savings each year. To generate that, he'll need about $200,000, assuming he'll only live to about 80, and that inflation remains low. Just so you know, by the way, this is me breaking out of that email for a second. Most of the assumptions that guy just made there are incorrect.
I was going to say, everyone's a financial planner nowadays.
Yeah. And then he goes back to the email. To me, you have sabotaged this man's life and retirement. He will likely have to work well past the age of 65 and will likely end up unnecessarily impoverished.
Oh.
This is most especially the case when considering that health insurance is largely migrating to high-deductible disaster coverage. This man should have been encouraged to protect some of his money, yes. The standard advice is your age in bonds. I do agree bonds don't really make sense right now, so yes, he should put a chunk of his money into a safe investment. CDs within an IRA might have made sense, since he'd get at least some offset against inflation. Doesn't even make sense. But the rest of the money needs to be invested, and he needs to continue investing as much as he can afford to into a 401k or IRA for the next 10 years. He needs growth, both before and after retirement, to stay financially healthy. Your advice encourage him to time minimize the higher risks of insufficient savings and erosion due to inflation. Well, this guy's got a pretty awesome thesaurus.
Yeah,
it also minimized risks baby boomers face in the Social Security and Medicare systems. I think you did this man a disservice by indulging his fear of investing. I am not a mindless devotee of stock market investing, but I do see too many young and low-paid folks who are terrified of the market. Because of the fear of loss, any hope of a halfway decent retirement is lost too. Sincerely, Robert.
Well, Robert, can we call you...
I don't need this in my life.
Bob or Bobby? But, wow.
I just don't need this.
Robert's got
thoughts.
He's got a lot of thoughts.
Okay, so I have to say, when I was a financial advisor in my first couple years, that's the way I thought too.
Yeah.
Well, he needs to be in the market. The market gives you gains. He won't get gains. But you know what? That's just not reality.
And also, too, it's one of those, if he doesn't want to be in the market anymore, why not figure out a way for it to work for him? So, and here we come full circle, do exactly what you did, of giving him the opportunity to still do what he wants, but not have to be in the market if he doesn't want to.
You know, very frankly, and I can't believe I'm saying this guy should probably be a guy that has like an index or a fixed annuity. And that doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot given our conversation in the last segment. But, you know, annuities have their places. And for people that are this fearful, you don't want a financial advisor to either stoke your fear or to back you off your fear.
Yeah.
They need to be acknowledged. And so here's my response to Robert. Robert, let me know if this is snooty. I felt like I waited at least 30 seconds before I sent it just to make sure it wasn't snooty.
Pete, I think
ready?
you should be frank with Robert, you know?
Robert, thanks for your email. As I mentioned in the column, see, that's where it seems snooty already, doesn't it? Well, it depends how you read it.
Yeah.
As I mentioned in the column, his risk tolerance is his risk tolerance. As someone who has been doing this for nearly 20 years, can you believe I've been doing this for 20 years?
Yeah, jeez.
I'm way too good a dancer to believe that. I can assure you that trying to talk a person into staying invested in a newspaper column, mind you, in the midst of one of the longest bull runs in history is a really bad idea. He expressed his objective, preservation, Any financial advisor who hears that preservation is a priority must protect the capital. I appreciate your perspective, but I stand by my advice. Pete.
I think that
What do
was,
you think?
that was, for everything that Robert put on paper for you,
Yeah.
I think that was a very respectful and timely response back.
I don't know. He's going to tell me to pound stand. Okay. So pound sand. Pound sand. Pound stand is different. Okay. Coming up after the break, we're going to hit a good question from a 25-year-old, a youth.
A youth. One of
We'll
me.
do that next. Live from Austin here on the Pete the Planner Show. I am Pete the Planner.
Yeah. Axe hand on the beat. Yes, sir. Glass House. Yes, sir. Mr. Kinetic, Rusty Redenbacher. ATFU. Naptown. Yeah. Peace to Fetty and Fredo. Helicopter choppers. Yeah, y'all ain't hip yet. Cashing in like the end of the game at the casino. I lean so the glare of the rear view don't hit me. Swiftly through the avenues and boulevards. Old soul playing on my speakers. Old soul but young in age, a boss player. Not from the Himalayas, but my fam gave me Gary, Indiana game. Grew up around the country, but the mindset was there.
Back on the Pete the Planner Show, live from Austin, Texas, the capital of Texas. Nicole, is that true?
I don't know. Let's find out. Let me Google.
I think it is. I think I saw what looked to be a state house driving into Austin today. Remember when in elementary school, like my daughter Ollie, she knows all the capitals and stuff.
Yeah.
Remember you knew?
See, I just knew the 50 nifty United States. I never knew the states and the capitals.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Austin the state capital of Texas? How long did it take? Do you bang
Yes,
it? What's taking so long?
It is.
Okay, good. Nicole, this next, we're doing only emails here today. Emails from listeners. If you want to email us. Ask Pete. It's all one word. It's like if my name was Ask Pete. At PeteThePlanner.com. Ask Pete at PeteThePlanner.com. Do not call our office. Look, I can Google our phone number too, but that doesn't mean I call it. Don't call our office.
Please don't call
Not
us.
being rude. Just don't call us. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Mrs. Planner went to lunch with us the other day as a group, talking about how people have called her my house before. Like, tracked me down in the phone book and called my house to give comment on things, which,
It's creepy, but also if it's nice things, that's cool that they went out of their way to make sure that you knew the nice things that they had to say.
isn't
Still
the bigger
creepy.
news there that we still have a landline?
Oh my God! Wait, what? Do you guys still have a landline? Like still?
Bring it up to Mrs. Planner at our next meeting.
Oh, is she?
I can't. No, actually don't. I don't want to get in trouble.
Is she pro the?
Hey, if you're listening on the radio right now, here's what I definitely don't want you to do. Call my landline and ask my wife why we have a landline. Please don't do
Wait,
that.
is she the one who's pro landline
God, that
still?
sounds like a bad idea. We should almost edit that out. Okay, here we go. This one is from Tanner. He starts with the classic, "Hi, Pete, I hope you were well." Do you think if you don't write "I hope you're well" that the chances increase that the person isn't well? And why
Yeah.
do I always write "I hope you're well" in an email?
I say, yeah, I do that of like, I hope you're well, hope this finds you well. Just kind of like a, hey, sending you good vibes. Don't know what your day's been
it's sort of a
like.
weird thing. I do it too. Newer listener here in Spokane, Washington,
Ooh,
listening to a couple of your podcasts, just a couple. Thanks.
just a
I
couple.
really enjoy the insight that you bring to my wife and myself. We've now started talking about retirement and putting money away from when that day comes. Although we are both only 25 and a long way from retirement, we'd like to start investing and putting money away.
Good for you,
All
Tanner.
right, so he goes through a bunch of stuff here, but I want to get to the point.
Okay.
So he works in sales for a great tech company, and I usually hit my metrics.
Good
Oh,
for
now
him.
I've switched to him. Okay, he hits his metrics
He hits.
as far as commissions are concerned. His on-target income is $70,000.
Nice.
When it gets, here's where it gets tricky. His wife's going into dental school. So they'll be losing her monthly income of roughly $1,200 per month and accepting her $60,000 per year loan for school. Okay,
Oh.
don't gloss over that.
Okay.
$240,000. Financial aid is asking us to pay $16,000 a year that the $60,000 doesn't cover.
What?
$76,000 a year to dig in people's mouths.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's stop there for a second. My uncle was my dentist prior to him passing away, and I really liked my uncle. Here's what I did not like about my uncle. When I'd go to see my uncle when he was at work, he'd put on a rubber glove, and he had really big hands, and he would jam them into my mouth and try to check on my teeth. And for that pleasure, in the modern era, he would have to pay $76,000 to jam a gloved mouth into a ginger's mouth. What do you think about that, Nicole?
That's a lot of money and a lot of gloves going in people's mouths.
That visual wasn't great, was it?
That was interesting.
It really.
Lie.
Let's move on.
However, that's a lot of money to shove a rubber.
So here's what my guy wants to know. He wants to know if they should keep saving money into her Roth IRA now, if possible, or wait until the 4 years is up.
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah, it's such a good question, but at the same time,
Yeah, so he gave a ton of great details. Tanner, I appreciate that, and best of luck. I don't even know the words I use anymore. To Dr. Your wife.
To Doctor Your wife.
Actually, I guess you're Mr. Her husband, if you want to get technical. She's the one with a doctorate in dentistry. DDS, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Here's what I did. I decided to make this a delay question, which is to say they're 25 years old. Let's assume we have to make some assumptions here, but let's say they work until they're 67.
Yeah.
Which is 2 years from now.
It's so long.
Okay.
Oh, it's so long.
I know. If they put $400 a month away for a Roth IRA for her right now, and kept doing it.
Yeah.
Kept doing it. Just $400 a month, and then till age 67. Starting today, they would have $1.6 million. If they waited 4 years and started putting $400 a month away, they would have $500,000 less.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so there's a lot working here, right? I mean, a big part of this is obviously the power of compounding, and the fact that it's $500,000 less is a pretty big number, but it's also
that's not even just like $100,000 less. Like
no,
oh nuts.
It's actually over $500,000. Can you believe that?
No, I can't. Well, yes, I can, unfortunately, but.
So again, let me say what doesn't work about what I just did here. It's the concept I'm trying to illustrate. Whether they can continue to contribute to a Roth when their income is super high, I don't know.
Yeah, no one knows.
They're not going to work until they're 67. It's very unlikely. One of the good things about being a dentist and paying $76,000 a year to learn how to dig into people's mouths is that you're going to make a boatload of money.
Precisely.
I'm going to make a really general comment here that's probably not great. Dentists make a lot of money.
Okay, so I'm really glad that you have shed light on this and brought this up, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I was kind of like, why would you start kind of doing this now when you know that down the road you're probably going to be able to catch right back up? Because
I'm gonna take this comment a little bit further.
Okay.
I would put dentists on my list of top 5 professions that in my dinosaur brain make more money than they should.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, Dr. Mrs. Tanner's wife. And I know you're listening to this, and I'm very sorry. And you're going to stop listening to my podcast. We've just lost 2 listeners, Nicole.
And we probably lost any listeners that we had from the couple dentist office that we have in the area that our office is.
Oh, my gosh. Next door, our office is a dentist. So if they're hearing this broadcast, do you have the speaker on outside?
Yeah, I do, actually. I forgot to turn that off.
So, yeah, I don't know. I have this list. I'm not going to go through the list. Pharmacists is on the list too.
Pharmacists make a lot of money.
They make a lot of scratch.
They're also kind of
coming out
scary
of school
smart,
making
though.
$100.
They're scary smart, though.
Well, yeah, but
They're the ones dealing with the drugs, though.
this makes no sense.
I'm kind of okay if they're making some cash.
But they have a computer, so doesn't the computer just dispense and say what the interactions are at this point?
I don't know. I know a couple of people who are getting ready to graduate from pharmacy school and have never been so excited before in their lives, but
Make a bunch of scratch.
yeah. Anyway,
Let's stop with the list of people that make too much money.
we're digging such a hole.
Oh my God. We've lost just half our listenership just now. Those two people that aren't going to listen anymore.
Thank God our moms still listen.
I know, and neither of them are dentists or pharmacists. My mom works at a funeral home, and someone drove their car through her funeral home this week.
Oh my gosh, is she okay? Is everyone okay?
She's fine. She wasn't there, but there was some carnage.
Oh.
All the living were okay. Let me just put it that way.
Yikes.
Yeah, let's move on. Well, a lot of that this week. A lot of moving on topics that we shouldn't have addressed.
That we've just dug into.
Okay, let's take a break. Okay, so anyway, Tanner, don't stop, won't stop. Just keep investing. Don't stop. At this point, it doesn't even matter. Just don't stop investing. Muscle through it, and it'll make a huge difference in the end. And by the way, you guys are doing a great job. I read through the rest of your email. Keep it up. I appreciate you listening. You're thinking straight. I don't want to say I was kidding about the dentist thing because I really mean that. However, no offense. Nicole, as you know, when you say no offense, it solves everything.
It solves everything.
All right, coming up after the break, biggest waste of money of the week. And ooh, I have a doozy.
A doozy.
All that's next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner.
Every day living through the peace of my soul, I remain whole, even in the middle of the pain. Even though my life has the rain, I still remain sane, writing and creating for my life. And my pen is my sword given by the Lord, and I use it to fight the tides of restriction. Sometimes I'm conflicted, find myself looking at the trees too much and can't see the forest. Enemy shall inherit the earth, and I want to inherit something other than the high blood pressure and diabetes. So work is what I gotta do. Stay true to my enemy and water the trees that I sing from, and look out for the lumberjacks. Running with the gale force wind at my back. Swift and enduring, I remain calm. Swift and enduring, I remain calm. Swift and enduring, I remain calm. This lays great errors to rest. Let me remain calm until it all calms down. Enjoying everything that's around. Let the sounds play on until it all calms down.
This week's biggest waste of money of the week here on the Pete the Planner Show, live from Austin, Texas. Why do I keep saying I'm live on the road when this whole thing's recorded?
Right? Like, well, we are live right now.
Okay, so let me just get super creepy right now. I'm looking out my hotel window. I'm on the 23rd floor, and I'm looking right over a rooftop pool where people are sunbathing. This is a really creepy moment in my existence. I mean, it really is. Like, if I wrote, there's like pieces of paper, like by the side of your bed, because hoteliers think that you're going to just write stuff when you wake up. I'm going to take a pad of paper and I'm going to write signs to the lady in the bikini on the rooftop. What do you think about that?
Or it's like they put it right next to you so you can wake up in the middle of the night and write down whatever incredible idea you had in your dream.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Maybe tonight I'll wake up and be like, complete the list of jobs that make too much money on next week's show. That's what I'll write tomorrow morning.
That's what we'll write.
All right, so this week's biggest waste of money of the week is going to mix it up a little bit, but dude, this is an incredible story. Kind of. So I grew up in the plumbing business. You know this, right?
Wait, yes, I did.
Okay. Have you? Yes.
Yes.
So I grew up in the plumbing business. I used to be an assistant on a plumbing truck from the time I was like 15 through the first part of college. And so I know my way around a toilet.
I love how that was musical.
I know. But I know a thing or two. And so our toilet was running this week when I was in, I don't know, I wasn't home. I was somewhere, and the toilet was running, and Mrs. Planner called, and she's like, the toilet won't stop running. And so I said, all right, honey.
Honey.
All right, baby.
Oh.
Take off the tank lid.
No.
Which sounds like I'm talking sweet to her, but I meant the toilet tank lid. Take off the tank lid.
What was that slap in the background?
That was me slapping my knee, because this is about to be a knee slap. And I had her look around at the guts of the toilet, and I did some diagnosis, and I noticed that I needed a part. So on the way home from an airport, which I don't even remember, I stopped at the store and I got $1.78 part.
Oh, you big spender.
I went to the bathroom, not to do business, but to fix stuff.
You fix stuff.
Pulled off the tank lid, drained the tank, turn off the water, put the $1.78 part on,
Did you
and
save
it was
the
done. Like 40 seconds of repair.
40 whole seconds and less than $2.
Probably saved us $100.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the one. Oh my gosh. There's so much money in that whole industry and all of those different service industries.
So here's the waste of money that I'm gonna prevent from other people. If you have something like that and you don't go to YouTube and you don't type, how do I, whatever just happened that you don't want to have happen, you're dumb.
Again, don't call us. Just because you have plumbing expertise, don't call us.
Right. I mean, like, here's the funny part. One of my good friends, Jack Hope from Hope Plumbing. This is not a commercial, but I love Jack Hope. He's a great man. I'm currently wearing in my hotel room, and this is where it's getting creepy because I'm talking about, what are you wearing? I'm wearing a Hope Plumbing shirt right now as I prepare to go work out after the show.
I love the universe.
It is such a weird thing.
It is. It's so weird. It's so great most of the time. But wow, it's weird.
So there it is. The biggest waste of money of the week is if you have a small issue in your home, like your vacuum stops working and you have a Dyson, and you Google that problem and you get to YouTube and YouTube says, oh, you order this part off of Amazon for $6. You switch it out. It takes you 10 minutes and it prevents you from having to buy a new vacuum.
Voila.
You guys do that? I mean, you and your man friend, you guys do you like Google home repair things?
Oh, yeah, all the time. We put it up on the big TV. It's like they're right there
I don't
with
do
us.
that. I just use my phone.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, is he handy?
Yeah, he's pretty handy.
Is he?
Yeah.
really see that.
His dad's pretty handy.
Oh yeah, well
So
of course
because
it's
of
acting.
that-
I just don't see it in.
And my dad's an engineer. So,
Oh yeah, so you got that brain.
so you got daughter of the engineer. Proud daughter of the engineer.
Hey, so my daughter had a gymnastics meet this weekend, the state meet, in which she did not move on. It's all right. It's all right. And, you know, if you've been to one gymnastics meet, you've been to them all. And given that we used to go to them all the time when I was a little kid because my sister's in gymnastics, I've been to more than I've ever wanted to go to. And oftentimes what happens during the floor routines, as you probably know, is the music comes on and the girl flips around a little bit. And then that happens 700 more times during that day because there's a lot of girls that need to dance around. And usually it's like the Pink Panthers, the music, or like Charleston, like just some terrible music,
Wait,
right?
Pink Panther is so true.
Yeah.
Oh, that yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many tap routines I've watched to that at competition,
terrible.
at dance competitions. Oh yeah.
So Mrs. Planner and I are sitting there in the stands, and all of a sudden, Beyonce's Crazy comes on. And our heads just whip to the floor because we're not even paying attention at this point. Like we're comatose with boredom. And she was like, I don't know what this girl's thinking, but this better be good. Because you can't have Beyonce as your floor music and be bad at this. You know?
You know, that's like one of those, if you set yourself up to dance to Beyonce, you better hold up your end to that as well.
So this 8-year-old girl, and actually I remember her name because she was so, I don't remember her last name. Her first name was Remini. Possibly the best gymnastics routine I've ever seen in my life.
Shouts out to Remini.
I hope she won. She won the whole thing. And she was going on to some other meet that her parents could have to pay $200 to get her into because that's how that racket works. But that kid I don't know if floor routines are a skill you can put on LinkedIn, but I would endorse her for it because it was the best floor routine I'd ever seen.
You know, Pete, I like to think that maybe one day and years down the road, she'll be one of those kids that we'll have like kind of forgotten about a little bit, but it'll just show Remini, United States of America, and we'll be like, oh my gosh, this is the girl that danced to Beyonce when she was 8 years old, and now she's at the 2032 Olympics.
It was incredible. So I know people tune into the show for a couple reasons. Number one, they're just running errands, and they don't want to listen to music, and they want to hear what I think about youth gymnastics.
Youth.
Number two, I have financial things to say, and I ask that you don't call me on Monday. You know, most financial shows really are built around the idea that call us on Monday. Our motto is, please don't ever call us.
Don't ever call us.
No offense. Email me. It's fine. We got a system for that. Ask Pete at PeteThePlanner.com, but just don't call. All right. I'm going to go run now. Oh, it just started raining.
Nuts.
Oh, I'm going to be on a treadmill. All right. Well, all is lost. Nicole, I think I'll be back in Indiana with you next week after I'm in California for a week.
No. It's good to be you, Pete.
I have pillow confusion right now.
I don't blame you. I would too.
I don't like down pillows. When you get to nice hotels, they always have down pillows. I'm just not down with down. You know, they just don't do me right.
No.
Foam guy.
I feel that.
All right, no one cares. All right, for about my pillow preferences. All right, Nicole, thanks for being on the show this week.
Hey, always.
You want to be on the show? You can't. But email us at askpete at PeteThePlanner.com. That's all I have. Sending you good vibes because good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner. This is the Pete the Planner Show.
If you want to be on this podcast and have Pete fix your money life, then hit us up at PeteThePlanner.com/podcast. You heard me. PeteThePlanner.com/podcast. Log on.
This is for information purposes only. It's not the Swiss financial planning device. Consult a financial advisor.
Released from Everest, the fresh is fresh, and you can call me E.T. Word to John Tesh. Let me bless this harmonic presentation. It's amazing, so amazing. I'm the reason. Salutations, I bring you love-trying greetings from a faraway land. I am the sole controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Love-trying can restore your health. I bring you greetings. Salutations, how you doing? And is that how y'all say it? The tinkling of the keys is an homage to the little star. I sojourn over poetic descriptions of sound and travel to my other world. Out of this world, spaceship on my arm took me home, fueled by the ink and the megabytes and the hypertext transfer protocol, stronger than the Skynet and the Terminator. I push faders into warp speed, glide with ease, creating a breeze they call a black hole. Event horizon, no rear view concerns. This I adjourn, and beats I burn. This I adjourn, and beats I burn. Salutations, I bring you love-trying greetings from a faraway land. I am the sole controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Love-trying can restore your health. I bring you greetings. Salutations, how you doing? And is that how y'all say it?